Hey guys, Yang here at Locals today with my friend Dominic. He has his Tier Element branded deck. So let's dig right in. Dominic, let's go.
All right, so first we'll go over all the tier cards.
Yes.
So you're gonna maximize on all of them. This Rhino Heart, what he does on summon, either normal or special, you send a tier element monster to the graveyard, and then when he's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon him, but then you have to send a tier element monster from your hand to the graveyard as well. And then when he leaves the field after you resolve that effect, he's banished. Okay. But this is the main starter point because it's the most basic line of play. You just normal summon, send any of the other tier element monsters, and then fusion summon from there.
And he's a warrior, so I'm assuming.
Yes, he's a warrior, so he's searchable by Rhoda.
Nice.
And then we play 3 Sheeran. So this one, while it's in the hand, you can reveal her. Then if it resolves, because her effect is all 1, so she can be ashed because you reveal her, send a monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon her, then mill the top 3 cards of your deck.
Okay.
And then when she's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you fusion summon by using her, and then monsters on your field, graveyard, or hand to fusion summon by putting them on the bottom of the deck.
So the tier cards' main focus is to mill the deck, right?
Mill, and then they recycle themselves because they trigger when they're sent off of card effects.
Okay.
So it's almost like an infinite resource game if you play it correctly. Haveness is basically like a hand trap because when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can reveal her, special summon her, then mill the top 3 cards of your deck. And then same thing when she's sent to graveyard by card effect, fusion summon by putting it to the bottom of the deck.
So they all have that fusion summon when it's sent to the graveyard,
except for Rhino Heart.
Gotcha.
And then Merly is just a basic when she's normal or special summon, mill the top 3 cards, and then again sent to the graveyard by card effect, fusion summon.
Gotcha.
So that's it for all the tiers. And then we do play a branded package, so we're playing 3 Aluber. Everybody knows what this does.
Yes.
Search for a branded spell or trap on summon. Very good.
Okay.
And also because we're playing so many other fusions now, this has a lot more synergy with its graveyard effect of being able to revive itself to save you from getting gamed and negating something like an Access Code Talker, which I did do on our Thursday locals to somebody because he destroyed Aluber first instead of my Garura.
Okay.
And then I'm only playing 1 Tragedy, 1 Ad Libitum. This is all you really need.
Okay.
Because Tragedy, you don't even really need Tragedy that much. He's just there just in case if you don't see a Luber.
Okay.
And then Ad Lib is nice because of the branded in red plays and everything like that. Just being able to bring back your fusion monsters.
Yep.
And then 2 Albaz. 1's not enough. 3, you could play 3, but I found 2 is the perfect number because it decreases your chance of seeing it.
Yep.
So, and everybody knows what Albaz is.
And you are paying 60.
Yes, this is a 60 card deck.
So.
And then we play 3 King of the Swamp because the searches are Poly or our fusion substitute, depending on what you need.
Okay.
And both have their applications as well. And plus, King of the Swamp's important because we're fusion summoning so much. So when the tier elements trigger, you can use this as a substitute for anything.
Okay.
And also it's Aqua, so it does help with the requirements of some of the tier element fusion monsters.
Nice. All right. That's what that card is getting so much hype.
And then we also play a small Shadal package. So we're playing 1 Skomata, 1 Beast, 1 Dragon. Skomata, if you mill this off first, you're just sending one of these 2 depending on what you need. Beast, everybody knows, draw a card. And then in the back row matchups, Dragon, when it's sent to grave, you destroy a spell or trap. Their flip effects never come up.
Okay. So
Like you would have to be like bricking in order to...
So you kind of don't want to draw the Shadow monster, you want to mill them? Is that
Yes,
correct?
you want to mill them.
Okay.
Whether it's by the tier elements or if you send them off like Branded Fusion or something.
Okay.
And then Fairy Tale Snow because it's a 60 card deck.
Yep.
And plus, this helps you make Albion as well.
Okay.
Then hand trap or monster hand traps. I'm only playing 3 Ash and 3 Crow. I did not have Crow in the main the other day, but I decided to swap it out. I put Dark Ruler in the side instead because I feel like Crow's a little more impactful this format.
Yeah.
Because it stops the tier element monsters from triggering, and it also helps in the Sprite matchup like with Elf and Ronin Totem.
Yep.
So that is it for the monsters. We'll get into spells. So we're playing 3 of the Primeval Planet. This is your main searcher for the tier element monsters. So it's really the only expensive piece in the deck now, like in general. So
This card's $80, I know.
And also, while it's on the field, your Tier Element monsters and Fusion monsters gain 500 attack, which is important. And then when a Tier Element monster is put back into the deck or extra deck, you get to target a card on the field and destroy it.
So it has 3 effects. One, searches on activation.
Yep.
Boosts its attack.
And then it destroys something when you put something back into the deck. But all that's once per turn.
Nice.
And then for the branded cards, we're playing 3 branded fusion, 3 branded opening, and the 2 branded in red.
Yes.
I was only playing 1, and during the last game or last round on Thursday, my Thursday locals, I opened this and I didn't want to open it, so I was forced to search for a branded fusion off of Albion during the end phase. So it was a little rough. So bumping it to 2 is definitely important.
If you hard open, you have another one to set.
Yep. And then 3 talents. I think talents is still insane right now. It was insane last format. I think it's even more insane this format because there's so many new decks now that just play on your opponent, like your turn. So having this is a very nice option.
Plus, every deck is averaging 12 hand traps. You're bound to
That
get hand
too.
trap on your turn too.
Then for one-ofs, like I mentioned, Fusion Sub and Poly, these are your search targets off King of the Swamp if you open it. And then for the other one-ofs, we're playing Insta Fusion, Foolish, Rhoda, and Terraforming. These should all be pretty obvious.
Yep.
Foolish triggers a lot of cards in this deck. And then Insta Fusion has a couple of targets as well that we'll get into shortly. Then for traps, I upped the trap count a little bit because we are playing 60, and some of these you do want to mill. So first we're playing Tearlaments Solik. This is a once per turn monster negate, and when you negate them, after you negate the monster effect, you can send a monster on your field to the graveyard. So that helps trigger your Tearlament monsters. And there's a loop with this and Kaleido Heart, which we'll get to when we get to that point. Where it just keeps bringing Kaleido Heart just keeps summoning herself back. But
if this card gets milled, it has an effect too.
Yeah, when it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to add a Tier Element monster to your hand. And also to activate this card, you have to have a Tier Elements monster or Visa Starfrost. That's the requirement for activating it. And then we're playing 2 Meta Noise. Similar thing, you have to have a Tier Element monster or Visa Starfrost. But this is Book of Moon. And then I believe this one also sends a monster.
It adds from grave. Grave
this one adds from grave when it's sent to graveyard, but after you Book of Moon, you send a Tier Elements monster from your deck to the graveyard.
Instead of from field.
And then the last 3 cards I play are just 3 Imperm. Just 3 more hand traps, just to be safe. So extra deck, we are playing 2 Kick Kalos. This is your important piece of the deck.
Instant fusion target.
It's an instant fusion target for 1, and then on summon, it either adds a Tier Element card, so you can add the trap or the monster to your hand, or you can mill it to the graveyard. So whatever instance you need, you can choose which one. And then while it's on the field, you target a monster you control, and then special summon a Tier Element monster from your hand, and then the monster you target gets sent to the graveyard. So a lot of times, what I like doing is adding Merly off of Kick Kalos, and then activate Kick Kalos effect targeting herself, summon the Merly, send her, and then you have an instant mill 8. So you're bound to hit a Tier Element monster off of that.
The instant fusion is broken.
And then we're playing only 1 Kaleido Heart. You never need more than 1, mainly because you cannot use her as fusion material. On summon, she shuffles a card back into the deck, targeting obviously. And then when she's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, she can summon herself back and then send a Tier Element monster from deck to grave. So that's why with Solik, it's like a loop almost. Like every turn you could do that. She also can trigger the shuffle effect if an Aqua is shuffled back into deck. And by shuffled, that means like if any of the Tier Element monsters put themselves back into the deck. Because they worded those cards weird for whatever reason. Then the branded package, we're only playing 1 Albion, 1 Lubellion, and 1 Mirror Jade. I do want to play Albulenitus, but I can't find mine for some reason. So an Albulenitus is a nice target to send because it lets you add any fusion card or polymerization. So because I do want to play like a Shaddoll fusion at some point in the future, so that way I can just hard Shaddoll fusion on people. And I shouldn't have to explain what those cards do. Everybody knows what those cards are. 1 Guardian Chimera. Again, you never need more than 1, especially with this deck, because you can always recycle it back. And plus, it doesn't come up too often, but if you happen to have a branded red play, like it's nice to have the option.
Yeah.
And then 2 Dragostapelia. 2 is almost mandatory in my opinion, because this stops Sprite almost entirely. Because if you can, especially if they normal summon something first, then when they go to activate an effect, or if they don't even trigger the effect, you just go and activate Dragostapelia, make it a level 1 because it has the Predator counter.
Oh, not only negates the monster effect, it turns it level to 1.
Yeah, if it has a level.
If it has a level.
So that's why it's important. And
That's
like,
pretty crucial.
and I love looping these. Like, I'll just go through one, then if I can mill a Tearlament monster on my opponent's turn, after I use the effect, shuffle it back, summon the other one, and then its effect still applies because it essentially never left the field.
Okay.
And then 1 Winda. This is the only Shaddoll fusion I play. If I play Shaddoll fusion, I would add a construct somewhere in here. I just don't know where yet. But Winda wins games.
Yes, it does.
Another instant fusion target, Millenniumize Restrict. If I have full combo, which almost all the time I do with instant fusion,
Insane.
then I like going for this just to stop any potential hand traps. But you can also hard make this because this only requires Relinquished and an effect monster.
Yep.
So you just use King of the Swamp and whatever tier element monster you trigger.
Yep, as a substitute. Yes.
And then super poly targets. We're playing Mud Dragon, Starving Venom, and the new Garura.
Garura.
This card is nuts. Thank you for Konami for making this card.
It is pretty good super party target.
Especially like, even on, I think it was on Thursday, I was playing against Pure Punk and I had TC Boo flipped on me when I was triggering a fusion summon. So I went and just fused 2 of my Aqua Dark Tearlaments and made this. And like, I just was able to have this plus a Luber and Mirror Jade on the field, those are all different types. Because my opponent thought for some reason that Mirror Jade was a dragon, so they were trying to stop Lubellion.
Okay.
And then the last card I play is 1 Time Thief Redoer. This is very easy to make because you can get 2 level 4s out, no problem. And plus, the detach for this is not a cost, it's part of the effect. So when you detach a Sheeran off of this effect, or even Rhino Heart, like it triggers both of them.
It triggers their effects, and it's not cost. Okay.
Nope.
Nice.
And plus, taking the top card of your opponent's deck is always cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then my side deck, I only have 2 Ghost Ogre. I want to bump it up to 3, but I don't know. I'm still experimenting with the side deck right now. But Ghost Ogre is really good this format.
Yes, it is.
And I'm playing 3 Lightning Storm, Board Breaker, very essential. I'm debating between this or Evenly Match. I've been liking this a lot because it baits out the Toad.
The negate, basically.
So, and if I get baited with Toad, then I can just go about my play. And then 3 Dark Ruler. Dark Ruler is essential this format as well. It stops the Sprite board from triggering off, and that way you can be able to still play. And also tier elements to an extent as well. And only 2 Super Poly. Again, my ratios are weird, but Super Poly is not entirely needed. But when you do see it, it is nice. So I like it a lot. And then my last hateful cards for Sprite are 3 Devastation Virus and 2 Trap Trick.
Ouch.
So and I did this to my friend Craig on Thursday. In the last round, we were the only undefeated. He got game 1. Game 2, I opened Trap Trick. On his turn during his standby phase, flip Trap Trick, set a Devastation Virus, and then on resolution, flip it. And then he had to discard. He discarded 4 monsters out of his hand.
Ouch, that's GG.
He had, I think he had Talents and Smashers left in his hand after that.
Ouch.
So that is the deck. There's no real like actual combos for this deck. Like,
so if
you just basically play like whatever you have, you just play.
So if you
that
have,
one.
if you like open a Rhino Heart in your hand, what will your end board be with the
If
Rhino
it's
Heart? Yeah.
if it's only Rhino Heart,
Yeah.
I mean it's very dependent on what all you have in hand because you can infinitely extend with this deck.
Yeah.
Like this deck has like at least this variant has so many combo lines. Like my round 1 on Thursday, because I just put this together a couple days ago just for the heck of it. And literally game 1, our game took like 20 minutes just because like my turn alone took like 12 to 15 minutes of just constantly playing and then like baiting out cards and just OTKing from there.
Beautiful. Nice.
So yeah, that's all for the deck.
Yeah, thank you, Dominic, for this awesome deck profile. I like to have these friends who have these deck profiles that I probably won't play, so I can upload these deck lists for you guys to watch. Anyways, comment down below if you guys have any things to add to the deck or whatnot, and like and subscribe. See you guys next week. Bye bye.